In the next installment of our leadership-centric morning, we will hear from today's current C-suite leaders who are advancing telecom and ICT globally. Please join me in welcoming on stage Alexander Babichev, CEO, Tele2 Kazakhstan, Mr. John Omo, Secretary General, African Telecommunications Union, Tariq Jundi, CEO, Ankabut, Eli Hanna, CEO of Tampnet, Zayan Sadiq, Managing Director, MEAT Service Providers, Cisco Systems, and our moderator will be Georges Debarry, Vice President, Head of Sales, sorry about that, MIA and APAC MediaKind. Give them a round of applause, please.
Again, a very warm good morning. And I think in this panel, we're really exploring the mindset of five great leaders, which come across different segments, from regulatory to telcos and into effectively certain segments, verticals, like with Tariq on EdTech, with Eli on offshore operations, and with Zayan more or less on servicing the partnership of Cisco with all of the operators and telecom providers. So this panel is really exploring the mindsets, to talk about how they interpret the national visions and what's the role of these national visions, how they're interpreted, how they're executed by each leader, what are the challenges and the opportunities, at what level they are at now, and how this is going to translate into potentially new interpretations of the return on investment in AI, as well as how they deal with the complex ecosystem of stratification in the ICT sector. I'll start with you, John, and talk more about the definition of the role of national visions as guiding lines. I think you're working very closely as a regulator with many countries in Africa. And I want to pose a question to you: is who defines these national visions? What's your role in maybe helping with that, or even catalyzing it? And if there is any specific visions you want to focus on, particular to any country, maybe we get your views on this, please.
Thank you very much for the question. So my employer, the African Union, does require that I don't sit in any panel where there's no lady. And so I don't know what the media wants to do about this, but if this is shown to my employer, then I'm in problems. So if there's any lady volunteer out there who would like to join us here, please, for the sake of keeping my job, I would appreciate. Truly speaking, I would truly appreciate. Christina, maybe if you want to join, I don't mind. Yeah, I don't mind, but that is a rule now in our organization, that we don't sit in panels where there are no ladies. So Tony, you may want to consider that going forward. Thank you very much. Where there is no vision, the people perish. And so there are two issues that you have raised there: the role of the ATU in terms of the various ICT strategies, frameworks in Africa. Africa has 54 or 55 countries, depending on who you're talking to, officially. And so we have those many countries to deal with as a union, as our members. We are a specialized organ of the African Union, and so much of what we do stems from the African Union. The African Union has Agenda 2063 that envisions how Africa wants to move technology-wise. We have the African Digital Transformation Strategy of the African Union. We have the AI framework at the African Union. So these continental frameworks then flow down to us in terms of how do we work with governments in terms of ensuring that these continental strategies and visions are realized. We also have, of course, the Malabo Convention on cybersecurity and data governance. So the role of the African Union essentially is to ensure that these frameworks are implemented at the national level. And how do we do this? We bring together ICT ministers from these continents and then have targets across the board in terms of how do we realize these continental visions. So each of the African ministers of ICT would then have set timelines as to when to implement this. We do this not so much because we have the power to enforce, we certainly don't, but we enforce it through the power of reason. That it is good for people to work together, it's good for frameworks to be harmonized as much as possible. And so we have, for example, AI, we have a number of African countries that have, adopted the African Union Commission framework, AI framework, as national strategies to ensure that AI develops in a way that is congruent to the African Union AI strategy and digital transformation strategy.
Excellent. Alex, if I may ask you on Kazakhstan specifically, basically the country is aiming to be the leading digital hub in Eurasia. And I think it went a long way in establishing a Ministry of Artificial Intelligence even, and have plans to train up to a million people in AI in the next few years. Yeah. So maybe you can shed some light on the vision, the national vision, how you're executing it, please.
Yeah, of course. Of course, the government vision is crucial, yes, and is a key element of country's development because it allows to synchronize all players in the country, so government, businesses, educational organizations, etc., around the common goal, yes. And in Kazakhstan is a very good example. For example, Kazakhstan set up the goal to digitalize the government services several years ago, and now we have more than 90% government services digitalized. So Kazakhstani people are using the digital services only in application mostly. So the same goal was for fintech. For example, several years ago, we set up the goal to digitalize our financial sector. And more than 90% of financial transactions are cashless now. So, and if you want all providers, mobile network operator providers, embedded in and have actually financial products in the application and provide these financial products for the customers. And if you want to have a bank and operate as a bank on the Kazakhstani market, you should definitely have easy to use application which has also some external services like government services, other services which are forming the ecosystem of local bank ecosystem, etc., etc. So, and now we have new focus. Now we have new focus from Kazakhstan government is the AI. And it's not just buzzword for us. It's like, we already created a Ministry of Artificial Intelligence. We launched a national project like Digital Kazakhstan. We launched a sovereign supercomputer in Kazakhstan. And also government and AI ministry committed already that they are going to train at least 1 million people, Kazakhstani people, for AI technology. So this is the real deliverables of how this country focus can affect on the life of each Kazakhstani citizen.
Thank you. Eli, I'll go across to you, and you have a very specific business niche as well, in providing services to offshore. How do you see, I guess, the national vision for you is derivative of what exactly? How do you interpret that in your business?
Yeah, it's global. But before I answer this, Mr. Omo, if you move to the US now, if you are a company, you have to remove all DEI diversity from anything. Otherwise, you lose your job. So it's the opposite. So maybe you should move to the...
Fortunately, I'm not there yet.
You get fined if you keep it in. So, yeah, no, but back to your question. As a global company, I mean, we get exposed to different visions of different governments, and they really vary from the ones from the previous panel who want to work with us, who want to shape. Who wants to shape the offshore industry with us. So when we approach the regulator, when you approach the government, they usually don't know much about the offshore, and then they want to work with us to shape this vision and what they want to get there, together with the different oil and gas operators or wind farms or etc. Norway, for example, is a good example, and others. But then there are other governments, like the current government, for example, in the UK, when they put like a windmill tax of 80% on oil and gas. So everyone for this green vision, and green vision is good, and energy transition is good, but you need to land it in a proper way. And by doing that, everyone is closing down in the UK, moving outside, and the country is not self-sufficient and buying energy from across the street. So nobody understands this except themselves. But so those are like two neighboring countries, but with totally different way of working, exactly. Totally different visions.
Interesting. Okay, I'll shift to Tariq, and I think you're leading in EdTech with Ankabut in UAE. We've seen the UAE leadership vision until 2031, which is declaring that 20% of the GDP or a little bit more is reached by digital economy, basically. And I think this is fueled largely by segments like EdTech. I'm interested to learn how you're interpreting the national vision, particularly to the shift to the knowledge economy. So.
Thank you, George. So national visions, they're acting as an engineering master plan. So they define infrastructure, they define the platform, they define the talent that a country has to build. And when a nation, for example, like the UAE, announce and commit for an AI and digital leadership, so they are clearly demanding an ecosystem convergence. An ecosystem convergence across telecom, across cloud, across AI innovations, education, and also research. So we are experiencing a shift here from a sector's strategies to a more of a national digital architecture design, where education sits at the heart of it and plays a major pillar. Why? Because we cannot achieve an AI economy, or for AI economy cannot thrive without having an AI-ready generation. So for us, I guess that it means that we have to build a national digital fabric. We have to build an identity. We have to build a connectivity. We have to build a data pathways. So we can help the educational and research institutions to collaborate, to contribute to the national vision meaningfully. And we as Ankabut, we fit naturally here, not as, how can I say, a mainstream service provider, but to be part of what we call it as a national execution layer to help all the stakeholders here. So from our perspective, I believe that national visions are not slogan. National visions are engineering instructions for the future.
Very interesting. I'll come back and ask you specifically on EdTech, because this is a very, very interesting segment. But before that, Zayan, maybe we shed some light on Cisco's augmenting all the sectors, the operators, and how you're working in region, particularly with the service providers, to interpret these visions and execute them, help to execute them.
Thank you, George. So first we start by saying that national agendas are really profound have profound transformative impact on the telecom sector in general and on the whole economy. What we see today, if we look at the UAE National AI Strategy 2031, it defines clear objectives on the talents, preparing the talent and the talent attraction, on the infrastructure, on the ecosystem, on the data sovereignty, on the data protection. And these are all very important elements to set the North Star direction for the service providers and for the ecosystem on ground, whether it is an infrastructure or an executor, like an execution layer, like Tariq just mentioned, application stack to deliver the outcome on top of it for the whole country. And in AI, it's no different than that. It's actually more important. For instance, if you look at AI strategy and all the requirements and the dependencies on the power and energy, for instance, you can't have an AI strategy if you don't have a power strategy, an energy strategy. And this defines the gigawatt capacity of data centers and help them accelerate in the market. So that's one. Data sovereignty is another key aspect. And I think countries like Saudi Arabia has transformed this challenge as well into an opportunity with the Data Embassy initiative that they started a few months ago, which will enable them and enable the region and enable the UAE as well to be countries that would export tokens to the whole world. And obviously, cybersecurity is another very important topic for the AI strategy. And if we come to the core, which is where Cisco potentially can help and is working with the service providers, such as DO and Salat and the other of the SPs in the region, is where we can help them build this AI-ready network, a network that should be agile enough, distributed, because we see that the 75% of the expected inferencing in data traffic is going to happen at the edge. So this provides, or this needs the service providers to re-architect the network, to make it more distributed, cloud integrated, and more software driven, so that we can do more services, innovative services at the edge, whether it is for applications that would need low latency, or applications that has high throughput and needs to be a process at the edge as well. So this is where we come into the picture, work hand in hand with the service providers, build a strategy on how we can build this service agile network that can also meet the demanding convergence requirements to minimize the OPEX and CAPEX of the future networks, because at the end of the day, AI will only be possible and will be spread across all of those use cases if we can build an affordable platform for that. And affordable means less power and less CAPEX in terms of compute and technology stack.
Okay, perfect, excellent. I'm going to go to another salient point, which is establishing accountability frameworks, what we call responsible AI. And I'll pose the question to each of you, but starting, John, maybe, what's your definition of responsible AI as a regulator or helping with the regulation in Africa?
I think responsible AI has several components, but key amongst these components is two aspects. One, to ensure that whatever systems we build are about us, are about human beings, so that we see human beings as core to whatever we're building. Is it about our development as human beings or retrogressing? And when you take that on board, then you have legal and say regulatory basis for whatever we are building. These systems must ensure that whether it's voluntary or things that we enforce that are built on certain basic standards that are acceptable, as I've mentioned in the earlier panel, issues of human rights, protection issues, to ensure that we are able to trace data or the source of the data up to its applicability in an AI system, so that we then have levels of accountability built sufficiently in the system, and we can hold certain layers of the AI or persons that are responsible for building it accountable for any flaws that may be in it, and to agree on these standards a priori. Agree on these standards a priori in such a way that then everybody in the ecosystem feels sufficiently covered in such a way that either the builder does not feel that they are stifled by what they are seeking to innovate, and the person supplying the data does not feel sufficiently protected in the data that they are providing, or the system that they'll be exposed to as an AI.
Thank you. And same question I'll pose to Alex. Maybe, I mean, you're executing this in Tele2, and what is guiding this? Is it EU responsible AI? Is it GSMA inspired? Is it your own? How do you interpret responsible AI towards your customers?
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to mention that when we are talking about AI, we should remember that it's not only a huge and game changer technology, it's the new framework of rules. And we should understand who is accountable and for what when we are talking about AI products, etc. And of course, in Kazakhstan actually has made a huge step towards in this regard. We launched, and in November 2025, AI law was published in Kazakhstan, and it's based on key principles, and these principles are transparency, accountability, explanatory, fairness, and I forgot something. Legality. The main thing I forgot. Sorry, legality. And the most important thing which is defined in this law is the stakeholders. The law is defining the participants of this in this AI products, yes, and in this AI technology. We have owner of the system, we have operator of the system, and we have user of the system. And to be less abstract, I just want to explain a simple example, which, for example, we are using in our company in Tele2. For example, yesterday our CTO presented a self-optimized network solution, which adjusting our network to provide our customers the better customer experience, and this solution is based on AI technology. And what if this solution leads to worse customer experience? Who's responsible? Of course, we have owner of the system who is creating the model and who is using the data which is using in this model. We have operator of the system who is responsible for applying this model to our network, and who is responsible for managing this tool on our network. And we have engineer who is monitoring the situation, who should intervene and if he sees, for example, that something is going wrong, yes. And this approach defines who is responsible, who is accountable on each stage of this product. Another example, for example, chatbots. Many companies now use chatbots because it allows us to provide faster customer service, more convenient customer service, and the most important thing, most efficient customer service. And let's imagine we have conversation between chatbot and customer, and dispute raised, yes, and dispute, especially when we are talking about dispute about financial transaction, etc., etc. We should move this dialogue from chatbot to salesperson or to support person, because only person should be responsible for decision which we are making about these potential disputes. Yes. So, and I think that this is the main approach which we use in our company to regulate these AI products.
Excellent. Eli, any comments on responsible AI?
Yeah, I mean, I subscribe to everything that was said. Maybe I can add one thing. For us, it's really about data protection. And it's really when you're innovating in AI, AI is decentralized in the organization. We have some processes, framework that all employees need to basically read, understand. But then in order not to stifle the innovation, then we let people innovate, but then with really data protection in mind. And then, yeah, sometimes we have breaches, but we deal with them. And it's better than being 100%, fully proof, then the innovation doesn't take place.
Excellent. And Tariq, in terms of how do you define ROI in the EdTech? The RAI, not ROI.
Yeah. So when it comes to governance, George, we believe that there's a shift happening. So governance is shifting from a policy statement to more of an architecture choice.
Yeah.
So accountability in EdTech, real accountability, depends less on guidelines and depends more on where the models run, how the data flows, okay, who owns the risk. And also in an EdTech environment, the responsible AI would require, number one, secure compute environment, would require an identity-centric access, would require definitely as well unified data models, and also more importantly would require an institutional clear oversight. The challenge is that many sectors are adopting AI faster than introducing the right governance, specifically in sectors like education and healthcare, where data sensitivity is the highest. So here where our role comes into play. So we need to embed governance at all layers. Embed governance at infrastructure, at data framework, at agentic AI framework, at application and experience layers, rather than reacting and coming later as a corrective layer.
Nice.
This is really how we are addressing governance and accountability within the EdTech environment.
Thank you. Zayan, any comments there?
Thank you, George. As a vendor and for Cisco, responsible AI is at the core of everything we do. And it's at the core of our product development, of our deployment, of our system integration, and of our operations. We do adopt a very mature framework for that. It's a governance-led framework, and it's benchmarked against the global standards, against GSMA AI benchmark, against the European Union AI Act. And it mainly resonates on six main pillars: transparency, bias, data protection, data privacy, reliability, and cybersecurity. And when we do any AI feature, implement an AI feature or an AI product, we do consider all of these within a validation process to make sure that it is all the criteria we need are met. So for instance, if we look at bias, we go and check if there is any harmful or any intended or unintended bias against any algorithm or against any data training methodology that we're doing or against any application that we are using. And we take corrective actions to make sure that really AI or any AI solution that is out is measured against the real criteria of a mature RAI model acceptable globally.
Okay, and in terms of, I'll just touch upon cybersecurity, for example.
Yeah.
And how responsible AI is implemented there.
Cybersecurity is crucial within all of this, and we have developed what we call the Cisco Secure AI Factory to make sure that the data model, we do secure the data models and the data trainings dynamically so that the outcome of any AI engagement is legitimate. And for that, we have a very mature framework, foundational framework. We have developed it with NVIDIA, and it's basically securing AI workloads and making sure that no interference happening to make sure that the outcome is measured, and if there is any detection of any abnormalities or any threat happening on the data workloads, we do detect it early enough and take the corrective measures.
Perfect.
Can I just play the devil's advocacy here?
Yeah.
for this round, our last two speakers. What this is for Tarek and Zayan. What role do you see for third-party auditors in your systems, accredited third-party auditors? Because I think that, especially the level of consultants, this is an industry that is coming up. None of us knows, but we are seeing a body of probably independent third-party auditors coming out and saying, yeah, we can also be another, not so much of a gatekeeper, but just an assurance provider in our systems, especially between the private sector and governments. Sorry, I seem to be...
That's a very great comment. Maybe they wish to answer.
Yes, I think the first, as I said, we have a mature framework for that. So if we assess against known parameters, known pillars, I think we should work together on creating the right processes and providing all the information needed so that you can do the audits against these principles. And I think when you talk about transparency, it means that you need to make sure that the user has the right to know when and how and which data are being accessed. When you talk about data privacy, we're talking about not touching any data that is private, okay? When you talk about bias, as we said, we make sure that the algorithm, the data trainings are appropriate. And I think in terms of private, working with the application at the private sector, we need to make sure also that the use cases that are being developed are all subject to a certain governance within the enterprise organizations as well.
Excellent. I'm going to move to the next topic, which is the measurement of ROI parameters in 2026, which is shaping as the year where ROI in artificial intelligence in particular is not just measured in terms of cost savings or payback on infrastructure, but more so in operational resilience, in creating new customer value, capital efficiency, and what we call strategic optionality. I'm going to make a statement, and I would like some comments from you on that, the fact that the success for those who treat AI as part of their strategic asset base and invest with discipline and measure the outcomes across multiple dimensions, evolve governance and data practices accordingly, success is guaranteed for that. To what extent is this statement true? I'm going to skip you, John, because this is more operational, so maybe we start with Alex, please.
Oh, yes, thank you for this question, and it's very interesting, actually, question, because I think that I'm sure that AI development is changing our approach, our way of thinking about ROI. In the past it was straightforward, but now AI, it's not only about fast return of money, the return of investments. And in Tele2 Kazakhstan, we divided AI projects on two groups. The groups with tangible effect. And this project, we can calculate, we can assess the impact, from this project, and the impact could be assessed pretty accurate. But also we have a huge group of AI projects with non-tangible effect. And how to make this decision? Should we go with this project or not? Or we shouldn't, yes? And we try to analyze, do these projects help us to achieve our strategy, to achieve our strategic goals? Because AI projects, they help us to be sustainable in the future. They help us to achieve our strategic long-term goals, long-term KPIs, ambitions. It's not about short-term return. Correct. Yes, and it's very important. Management should understand this. Shareholder should understand this, because
I think you mentioned something about when it comes to non-tangibility. You were putting a framework. It's called the OZAT, O-Z-A-T.
Yeah, it's our strategy. Yes, it's our strategy pillars. Outgrow the market, be closer to our customers. Digitalization and AI is our
basis for our strategy, because we understand that AI is the necessary tool to which will help us to implement our strategy and which help us to be sustainable in the future. So, and the most complicated thing when we are discussing about, for example, AI strategy implementation is infrastructure, and very heavy. They require very heavy investments to build infrastructure, to be capable to launch AI products. You should have infrastructure. It's heavy, huge investments, and in this very moment, we could really don't understand the future cases, use cases which we will have when this infrastructure will be ready, because very often cases emerge only after this infrastructure is ready.
Yep.
So, and it's a very complicated question, and we should understand and we should define the approach, how we approve these investments with shareholder, with the management, within the organization, within the company. And of course, our navigator here is our strategy. If this project helps us, according to our strategy, to achieve our goals, our long-term KPIs, we should definitely go with these projects.
Thank you. Eli?
Yeah. I think during those 2 days, many people have spoken a lot about AI, machine learning AI, agentic AI, etc., etc. The way I approach this ROI is actually very simple in my mind. And if I have to do all the projects that the organizations want to do, I think we go bankrupt. So what I do is either it increase revenue or it cut cost. And then we have 2-3 people who are heading the automation AI innovation, and then we decentralize everywhere. So a person in the NOC can come up with a good idea to introduce AI without automation to start with is rubbish. So it's usually automation and AI mixed together in one project, automation on top of this AI. And then they can come up with more machine learning projects, or it can come from HR, or it can come from finance, or from anywhere in the organization. And we don't like to govern this so much. And to me, I'm very simple-minded. It's either increase. I saw all these KPIs that you sent. I don't understand any of this.
Okay.
So I just either it increase revenue or it cut cost. Very simple.
Okay.
If it does, great. If it doesn't, then we keep doing it the same way that we do it today.
Okay, but in terms of non-tangibility measures, I mean,
I don't
you leave
understand
it
all this.
experimentation.
Yeah, I don't understand all non-tangible things.
Tarek?
Great honesty.
Yeah, I mean, I'm simple-minded. Consultants don't like me so much.
Okay, so as you said, AI is changing how ROI is calculated. So it's not anymore about cost reduction and automation. In the EdTech environment, we are considering 3 major new dimensions.
Yeah.
Time, capability, and talent. For time, because we're giving back, more hours and hundreds of hours back to the educators, back to the students, back to the researchers. In terms of capability, so here we are enabling every institution really to do more. And also for institutions, for example, accelerate the research cycle, improving decision maker. So enabling organizations to do more with capabilities. In terms of talent, the long-term value is really with the AI graduates ratio and also with the future of workforce. If we take those aspects all together, it plays a major role in how a national competitiveness is measured. Because national competitiveness is really will depend on how institutions are able to convert those measures and those new dimensions into a real outcome. And also in an EdTech environment, those ROIs could show up in, number one, definitely in reduced silos and fragmentation between education systems. Number two, accelerating a research cycle. Number three is building a constant digital experiences. And number four, building a strong talent pool. Now, those parameters, they are not theoretical, to be honest, George. So they are operational markers that we are observing on daily basis as the digital experience and the research workflows get integrated more together. So for us, the ROI of today is efficiency, but the ROI of tomorrow is really more of capability.
Thank you. Leanne?
ROI for us, I think, first of all, we see it from 3 dimensions, and I think this is based on the multiple interactions with our customers, with the SPs in the regions, and they seek improvements in productivity / efficiency, 1. 2, in innovation / product development and in new revenue streams, and 3, in maintaining the new product lines or the edge of the companies in the market, thus having a better customer experience. So customer experience, efficiency, and innovation. I'm going to give an example. So to do the ROI is really a complex method, because ROI of AI is basically, you need to make sure that, I mean, the challenges in the ROI calculation is basically coming from the fact of the volatility of the current technology, the maintenance of the data and data modeling and in data training, and the continuous need to further keep improving it and maintaining it so that it doesn't get outdated. And these are all hidden costs that we know, in addition to the non-tangible benefits of any AI use case, which, as our colleague here says, that he doesn't, if it's not tangible, then it's nothing. So, but at the end of the day, if you want to really build the complex formula for AI ROI, you need to include all of that, because this will help you with reduce the attrition and increase the customer loyalty. But I'm going to give a couple of examples, which we call it Cisco on Cisco. So we have introduced the AI in our technical assistance centers, and we have achieved 38% improvement when it comes to time to resolution for the TAC cases, support cases opened with us. And that was at a very cost-effective price. So we believe that the addition of what's equal to 516 virtual TAC engineers cost us as much as we pay for the salary of a yearly salary of one physical engineer, of one TAC engineer. And we expect in the coming 12 months a savings of around $35 million from the additional AI TAC engineers that we're adding to our TAC center.
Interesting. Just for the sake of time, I'm going to pose the last question, and maybe we take 2 minutes. Although I'll leave it free form to you, but let's be honor the timing, and then we open for questions from the audience. This last question really is actually it's probably the best, which is on crafting innovation partnerships in a stratified ICT ecosystem, and how do you navigate basically in an increasingly stratified ecosystem with so many partners, shaped by cloud hyperscalers, by the AI platform providers, the integrators, enterprise edge players. Yesterday, I think the Karim bin Kiran, the CCO of Do, was mentioning, in a 3 years, 4 years from now, we'll be dealing with 75 devices in the household. I mean, imagine all the players behind the scene in the ecosystem. How does that reflect on the mindset in your business of dealing with all these partnerships that will make this ecosystem happen? Before you answer that, I'm just going to give you my personal viewpoint on this. I deal with video streaming day to day, and we have experienced this probably more than anyone else in the telco environment, because video is so dynamic as an ecosystem. Probably it even, in terms of revenue, it's the least generating, but in terms of complexity, it is the most demanding. And the key to success that I always focused on, and also our customers wanted, is the level of orchestration among all these partners. Each individual block works fantastically well, but put it all together, there is a level of integration. But I think where the complexity is the orchestration across the whole lot.
And sometimes you cannot deal with it in natural intelligence. You need AI to help with smoothing the way, and maybe this is a perfect case for the future to effectively let AI architect the ecosystems or even the partnerships. So, final commentary on this, please. We'll start with John.
Yeah, I think the first important thing is to understand the landscape. Those that are in the ecosystem, that a developer or whether it's from data sets that you need to deal with. So understanding the ecosystem and ensuring that everybody in that ecosystem is integrated in terms of your partnerships is important. It's challenging, as you say. There are so many aspects of it, and perhaps an AI tool to help scan that landscape would be helpful. But I think understanding the landscape in terms of those that are in the ecosystem and how we need to deal with them is what is important. Lastly, since we are running short of time, it has to be done somehow, though difficult, for the reason that it's capital intensive. Data sets that are required span across various players. And so the reason is that because of that, we have to get partners on board. But from a telecom perspective also, the pipe that through which this information flows, especially at the international level, is transboundary. And so getting cooperation, not just within our jurisdiction, various telecom players in our jurisdictions, but across boundary is also important.
Thank you. Alex?
Thank you. I try to be very short. What we have now, many technologies are developing very fast, and we, of course, to support the space as a telecom provider, we have to, partner with owners of these technologies, because it's the decreased time to market for us. That's very important. It's a crucial, successful KPI of success for us, because we should develop and we should launch new products very fast. And why we are talking about ICT? ICT is very important because it's the, I think, main driver of revenue growth for us. Because core telecom revenue is a rudiment, because we don't see some double-digit growth in core telecom revenue. But we should keep pace of revenue growth with additional revenue sources. And ICT, this is exactly that source for us. And to develop ICT services fast, which actually requires a huge, heavy capex investments, you should definitely have a partnership with owners of the technology to launch these products on the market in fast and very efficient way.
I think in Tele2 you're doing also, you mentioned some partnership about...
Yes, and in Kazakhstan we are renting the GPU capacity from government supercomputer, Alem AI. And yes, we are renting a GPU capacity to faster implement our AI project, internal projects and external products for our customers.
And then you have something on moving from to data lake with the Huawei, I believe, right?
Yes, and it's like a good example of partnership with our current partner Huawei. When we are together, we are going to completely change architecture of data keeping and data management within the company. We are going from DVH, data warehouse, it's like traditional way of data management in our company, to data lake. It's platform, end-to-end platform to manage, keep and process data in a new way.
Thank you. Eli, final comments?
I think it's a quite wide question. I'll try to just look at it from just a little bit of another angle. I think the most important thing, we are in another industrial revolution with AI, so everyone agrees here that everything will change, is changing. And with this, you're going to have many companies who have been there for 30, 40, 50 years who will disappear, and many new ones who will appear. And I think the most important thing is to really have an open mind and spend time to select the right partner. And we are seeing many very small companies competing with those big companies. No offense to Cisco or Nokia or Ericsson, or that come in a niche and then that are much better. So it's really to select the right partner in the different areas. But not only this, also have the humility to say that maybe we made a mistake and pivot to another one and another one. It's lots of trial and error until you really get to settle in this new revolution. We're just starting, and the most important is to really be open-minded and go with the best.
Excellent. Tariq, please.
So we look at the ICT today landscape is very much layered. So we have the connectivity, we have the cloud, we have the AI models, and we have the sectors platforms. We believe innovation occurring at the junction points between all those layers. So we at Ankabut, we are trying to evolve from a tactical transactional partnership to be more of strategic alliances with key players. Such alliances will be built and defined based on interoperability, shared governance is very important, mutual value creation, and also orchestrated or coordinated roadmaps. Here there is a risk and there's an opportunity. The risk is in the fragmentation because we have too many tools, too many platforms, and there is no unified experience. There is an opportunity for orchestration where telecom networks, cloud providers, and innovation could be aligned towards one unified goal. And I guess that here our role in Ankabut would be to help education institutional, to be more aligned with a cohesive national digital architecture rather than an isolated silos.
Okay, excellent. Zayan, I think we're short of time, but
I think I just want to close by saying that the service providers are truly the backbone of the AI economy. And we believe that the network of the service provider is going to be the platform of this economy, the platform with APIs, because this API is going to make it possible for all execution layer, application layer, business outcome application layers to be possible through this API integration between the data models, the LLMs, all the inferencing that's going to happen between the different for the different industries. And my last point would be that for all of this to happen, it has to be secure. So again, we go back to the national agenda to make sure that all those clear objectives in the national agendas are being taken care of, and we shouldn't discount at all the importance of the skilling of the talent in the market. And I think this is where Cisco is also helping through Net Academy with the partnership of Do and Zain and Ooredoo and other telecom operators in the region to upskill the talents with networking, with cybersecurity, and with AI. With the AI needed skills.
Thank you very much. Maybe we open the floor for questions. Tony, usually you're keen on quizzing. If you have any questions, yeah. Fantastic.
No. Go ahead.
No. Your mic is not on.
I was telling really about your technology of connecting the rigs in the sea, and what kind you have of this connection. You're connecting them satellite, subsea, but how you do the 5G? Is it a private network or how you do? But if you can explain just for our guests.
Yeah, so what we do is that we We own a subsea fiber network. We either buy it or buy IRUs or build it ourselves. So we build the right rigs, the right rings, and then we build good resilience. In many cases, it is backup to the backup to the backup to the backup. And on top of that, we overlay it with 4G, 5G, and then we usually design the network, and it's based on the different platforms that are there. And sometimes there are wind farm substations there also. Sometimes it's carbon capture. And we don't need to use all the platforms because, on the sea, the propagation is very, very long. So you can reach 60, 70 kilometers, even more, and you cannot reach on land. The problem for us to reach more is people forget that the Earth is curved. So otherwise you can reach much more if the Earth was flat, but that we cannot change. So we have this, then we have line of sight on top of that, and then we incorporated low orbit satellite as well now. We don't believe in GEO. I mean, it's very expensive, very high latency, low throughput. We don't like it. So we incorporated low orbit satellite. We incorporated Starlink, OneWeb. We're in discussions with Kuiper. It's branded now Amazon Leo and others. And the way we do it, we have an AI orchestrator. We don't have any more primary backup and all this stuff. So everything is primary, everything is backup. And we have an AI orchestrator that would send the workloads to the right technology. For example, if your workload is emails, you don't need really latency for that. You can send it on the least efficient, cheapest bearer. But then if you're doing some OT process that needs 99.999999 reliability, then you send it on 5G, for example. So that's in a nutshell what it is. I'll be very happy to discuss more if you like, or if anyone likes, but that's what we do.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you, George.
Thank you.
Thank you.